Andrew, I know that this is your thing and all, but like, why do we have to do a test of courage before we record the School Live episode? I mean, what's so special about this Gakuen High School? It better be scary because this is a Halloween special.
Come on, guys. You gotta get in that good old spoopy Halloween spirit. And what better way to do it than visiting an abandoned high school?
Well, there better be, like, ghosts or monsters or something else in here, because this is not getting me in the spirit just yet.
Oh my. Do I have to give you guys a bit of a heat of warning before we start this up?
Yes.
I suppose so. But
Like what? What, per se?
Well, I'm just spitballing here, but for instance, if this school has some sort of language policy, something about how even though it's full of impressionable young high schoolers, that there may be strong language present, and that anyone who's a little weary about using the F word or the S word or the Z word, they should probably be weary when going forward in this episode.
That's not scary. That's not scary. You know what's scary, though, is when you don't know what's coming up ahead, and then all of a sudden somebody hits you with it in the face like a freaking Mack truck. Like, spoilers. Spoilers for any anime series. I hate them. They are so scary when you don't know what's going on. And then somebody wrecks it, and that's what probably is going to happen throughout this whole episode.
So please be mindful of that. We don't want to get anybody spoiled in the face, you know what I'm saying?
There's nothing more terrifying than knowing about what's coming before it actually happens.
All right, now...
Don't get it in my hair.
And I feel I need to say this, as the club representative for the Dub Talk podcast tonight, I feel I should be the one to say everything that's going to be said by us in tonight's expedition, that is our own opinion. That does not represent us as a whole. Just us as the individuals, you know what I'm saying? Gotta make sure I set a good example for us, We seem to be getting close.
Let's just go inside and we'll see what is happening in this place. And ew.
Whoa, guys, watch it. Watch your step there. Did you guys almost stepped on that broken glass?
What's that stench?
Ew.
God, it smells terrible.
Why is the floor brown? Like, what is going on in here?
All the furniture's all crashed and broken.
Does anybody hear that?
Wait, I think I hear it. What? Something's coming from the basement. Do you guys hear that? There's like some creepy sounds coming from under the school.
Kind of. I mean, should we go down there and... Andrew? Where did Andrew go? Andrew? Oh no. Oh my god. Noah? Oh my god! Oh my god, what is that? What is that? Oh my god! Stop! Stop!
Rise and shine, fellow students! Today is a beautiful morning for all of us here at Gakuen High School! We here love dubs oh so very much. We live for watching and discussing them every single day! So it is with excitement that we begin our very first Halloween meeting for the Dub Talk Club. We here at the Dub Talk Club Committee are proud to present School Live! Oh, this will be so exciting. We'll have candies, we'll tell scary stories, we'll do that test of courage thing in all my Japanese anime. Oh, how could I forget? Introductions are in order. Silly me. Over there in the corner, polishing her shovel that she since dubbed Hisoka, it's our resident Fujoshi badass, Gigi!
Look, Hisoka's gonna hit you in the face if you don't get this meeting started, and quickly.
But is there gum on the side of that shovel? That's another question.
Bungee gum.
But next, we go to the shy little cartoon bookworm slouched over his copy of Kino's Journey, preaching the good word of global animation. Noah Clue!
I'd like to tell everyone, thank you for letting me be here, and also, this book by Richard Williams that teaches all the great animation techniques is a must-read for anyone who wants to get into animation. It's so good.
All of you have come together, filled with joy and love for dubs and this very club. And the person we have to thank most for all of this is our beloved club advisor and team mom, Lilac! Thanks for setting all of this up for us, Steph. You're the best. Shucks. I know I've come a long way to getting host my own episodes. I know.
Andrew?
Hey, that's not fair.
Andrew?
I am very responsible, thank you,
Andrew?
you big meanie. What?
Who are you talking to?
But,
Who is Stephanie?
but she's right there. She's been
not-
with us.
Andrew,
She's not
I thought we
here.
talked about
What?
about this.
Steph, Lilac.
You have to come to grips with reality. Okay, the glass there, that is broken. The walls are still scratched up. The
What's
red
going
on the floor is not from paint, and all of this is not a club room.
Oh no. Oh no. There's zombies everywhere.
Yep. Cope.
Oh, okay. That was a weird little episode I was having. Oh,
You
Oh.
okay? You okay?
I
You
think
good?
I'm okay. My world has gotten a little darker, but my eyes have gotten clearer and opened to make way for the truth. Welcome aboard, everybody. Tonight, for our special Halloween episode of the Dub Talk podcast, we're covering a project that I've been wanting to cover for a very long time now, and that is the dub for School Live.
Woo! All right, let's do this.
Before we
I'm
begin, let's give a brief little discussion and synopsis of the story in question. I gotta get the voice back.
Strapping.
Yuki
kids.
Takiya loves her school so much that she does not want to ever leave. Fuck, I'm not pronouncing that high school name. Fuck that. Her high school is a unique and lively place where Yuki enjoys her carefree life as a third-year high school student and member of the School Living Club. The club, consisting of President Yuri Wakasha, the athletic Kurumi Ebisuzawa, the mature junior Miki Naoki, the supervising teacher Megumi Sakura, and the club dog Taro-maru, prides itself on making the best of school life. However, this illusion of endless bliss is just a bubble waiting to be burst because Yuki is unable to perceive what is truly happening around her. In reality, all is not as it seems. The real purpose of the School Living Club is to escape from the shocking and disturbing... Oh no. Shocking and disturbing truth. The girls are in the middle of a zombie apocalypse and barricade themselves inside the school as sole survivors. So with that out of the way, I think it's time we move on to our very first section of tonight, and that is discussing our ADR director and writers for this project.
And we should probably specify also that this is going to be a regular dub review, since there will be no predictions. We all just waited until the dub had come out, and we watched the whole thing, right?
Yes,
All
I
of
probably
it.
did have some predictions when I was first planning this, but that is irrelevant now. We are doing this a straight-up dub review.
Yeah, so, and some of us didn't even watch it when it originally was simulcast. Some of us went into this completely blind.
I'm
Just
so
you.
happy you went into this
Oh,
project
God.
completely blind.
It
It
wa-
fills me with so much joy.
I will never trust you ever again. You said, "Oh, you want to do this show called School Live?" And I'm like, "What's it about?" And you're like, "Oh, you should just watch the first episode and find out." I'm like, "Okay, well."
I genuinely thought you knew what the deal was. That's why I was actually surprised.
There was no warning. It was total
Yes,
whiplash.
that's the way you should watch this
That's
show,
why
though.
the first episode is so goddamn effective. And it still holds up.
It does, and this whole show just solidifies my further love for Lurch as my favorite current animation studio.
Interesting choice, but alright. Before we can talk about the show itself proper all day.
Yes.
But first, I think it's time we move on. Our ADR director for this project is Shannon Reed, as well as ADR writers Caitlin Barr and a personal favorite of Gigi's, David Wald.
The Fun Police! Ugh.
As
And just
for
the squeeing from all across the state, I hear, "Oh my God, David Wald!"
The Fun
you can hear it
Police.
already. Look, that man has a sexy voice. I don't blame you. Anyways, let's
does.
go on to the credits for these other... Let's go on to the credits and other things these people have worked on. Shannon Reed has directed such projects as Onigiri, Tamako Love Story, as well as being assistant ADR director for projects like Amagi Brilliant Park and Aoharu X Machine Gun. There's a couple other projects that have been announced recently, but expect episodes for those a little later down the road. Caitlin Barr has written for such projects as Chaika the Coffin Princess, Amagi Brilliant Park, Love Chunibyo and Other Delusions, Heartthrob, Is It Wrong to Try and Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon, and
Yes.
Fate,
Yes.
Khalid, Liner, Prisma, Ilya, Zwei, and Zwei Hurts.
AKA
That is a
best-
mouthful.
Why does
Best
that
magical
title
girl show
hurt?
ever.
That title hurts as much as it does. Seriously, the one canon happy ending for Ilya, and it's... God, it's... Ugh. Anyways, David Wald has written for such projects as Aura, Chivalry of a Failed Knight, and... Diabolic Lovers More Blood.
Hey, boo, hey.
Rappin' Rico.
That's not Rappin' Rico.
That is
Rappin'
not
Rico
Rappin'
is in
Rico.
Dance with Devils, which
It
is
is
not
a
about
completely different
vampires.
show. Look, Noah, you're not gonna come here and mansplain to Gigi about her boys trash, okay? Let's be real here.
Well, actually, if you think about it, liking boys love is actually very, very straight.
Same way, hey, Yuri is the straightest thing in the world. Anyways,
Absolutely.
enough about that. We will discuss Yuri undertones later on in tonight's show. But first things first, who would like to go first about their thoughts on the ADR direction and script for this show? I could either pick this out or I can go. You can volunteer as tribute.
Can we play King's Game to see who goes first?
Oh, no.
Sounds like Gigi, you're our first volunteer of the night.
God damn it! All right.
That was the best episode of Gal, by the way.
Oh my god, it really was. I can't
We
wait
have to kiss.
kiss. What? Well, okay. Anyway, we're gonna talk about the director.
Oh, you too.
Noah's like my little brother that I never wanted. Except I have a little brother, so he's like my second little brother.
And even though I am the youngest of you two, I am the dad of you two little children, and I'm the one keeping you in check.
It's true, we always cause trouble.
Yeah,
I
don't
would
know.
bring out the whip, but that would only interest you even more. Please continue, Gigi.
How did this cat hat get on my head?
Listen, kitty, sit down. All right.
Meow.
So our director, Shannon, let's see here. So School Live is such an emotional show, and honestly, I thought he really did a great job taking the audience on this roller coaster ride. With a small cast, there has to be a lot of emotions that come into this, especially since it goes from straight up moe to straight up crazy to straight up horror. And I think he did a really great job wrangling the actresses that he put in this dub. Everything is so intense, and so I think it's really superiorly directed. Especially crazy Yuki. She is fucking crazy and I love her. I do have a couple of things to say about his casting choices. Like, I think a couple of actresses could have switched parts and it may have made the show, at least for me, be seen in like kind of a different light. But other than that, I think he did a great job. Do you want me to talk about the writers too?
Might as well.
Okay, so my boo Caitlin, what up, girl, and my boo Dave Wald, who both follow me on Twitter and will hopefully still follow me on Twitter after this episode. I know.
Tread
Well, I said
carefully
that
on
during
that
More
line.
Blood. I was like, I bet David Wald's gonna delete me off of Twitter after he hears the More Blood episode, and I don't know if he ever heard it. So let's hope that he
No.
didn't.
No, he just got a second account so we could follow you twice.
Look, we still have some regulars in the industry at this point that follow our dumb bullshit regularly on a regular basis. I'm pretty sure you're safe. Please
Okay.
continue.
Well, all right. So let's see. I really like how the writing incorporated just regular kid speech into this. Like, the girls were saying "my bad" all the time, and there were parts in the beginning where the anime has to play it straight. Like, the whole job of the first episode is that you don't know that this place is a zombie apocalypse. You don't know until the very end. And I thought that the scripting that they did really worked with that. All the dumb Yuki lines, because, you know, Yuki's crazy, and we're going to talk about Yuki later, but I love those.
If you mean dumb lines, you mean the best lines.
I know. I
just
mean,
kinda-
like, Yuki being dumb, not the lines are dumb. Like, Yuki's dumb.
I'd say she is not a dumb character. She is a naive character, and like
That's
a
a better
carefree.
word.
I mean,
Yeah,
that is in itself a defense strategy. Even people who aren't in this situation will still use that as their defense mechanism to get through life.
All right.
It's true. I
But
do it sometimes. But the one line that made me kind of like tear up was when Ri was talking to I don't know, maybe Miki. I don't know what it was, but they were talking about how they put together the barricades, and she was like, "They're put together with the hope in our hearts and Megune's love, and it held them together." And I was like, "Please kill me
yeah.
now. Please kill me now."
Thank you for reminding us of that line.
I know, it was so cute. There are obvious parts in here that I could tell that Dave Wald wrote just because I'm obsessed with Diabolic Lover's More Blood. So I could like kind of tell like the couple of parts where I think he dipped his toes in there. And the last thing I want to say about the writing is that they use things like senpai and stuff a lot, which normally I don't like in English dubs because I'm not going to call you Noah-chan. Like,
Well, no, you'd call me Noah-kun.
well, whatever. I'm not going to call you any of that. I'm just going to say Noah, sit down.
Actually, the honorifics for young male is kun and chan is for young girls, technically.
Whatever.
Now, children.
Here's the fedora. I'm sorry, you can have it back.
Oh, thank you. I stole it from Hardy.
I will
Doesn't it
burn
look
that
nice on
fucking
me?
fedora. I will burn that thing to the ground.
It's like a hydra. It'll just come back threefold.
I know it's
Oh,
really
Lordy.
bad, but yeah,
Okay.
I think it actually worked here. Like, I don't know, what do you guys think about them using the honorifics here? Because I think they kind of had to, with just some of the lines that Yuki has to say, like how she feels about Miki and stuff.
It's pretty much like you need those on the grounds that like she makes the cute little Japanese nicknames for them, and it's very clear her big deal is how much of like a responsible senpai or a good kohai like her little underling is, and that dynamic is important to her to try and keep that illusion. Like it doesn't, like the whole dynamic doesn't really matter to anything else. It's the whole school dynamic is basically gone to shit and it doesn't exist. But the fact that it exists in like her mind and her heart is actually pretty important, that the whole senpai, kohai, Mii-kun, chan thing is there for her to have some sense of normalcy in her school life. So I think that actually works very well.
Well, I think your main question, Gigi, is because it's an English dub, does it still work? Because a lot of English dubs will take out Japanese honorifics to make it more authentic sounding to English speakers, right?
Right, and I was trying to think of another way that they could have done it, and honestly, I couldn't think of one.
And
I
I'm glad
kind
they
of
did
agree,
it
yeah.
because I've actually, I think it was Monica Rial who was giving a discussion about when to make that decision. And her thought process for most people was this. If the show is going to be aimed at a mainstream audience, like something that you can broadcast on television, that someone who's not an anime fan will be watching, they try to take out those kind of speech patterns and make it more mainstream sounding. Something like this, though, that is not really a mainstream show because the art style is very anime, and also the average watcher isn't going to watch something this tonal whiplash-like, then they have the freedom to keep the Japanese honorifics in there, because the average person watching this knows it's an anime and is already familiar enough with honorifics that it's not going to trip them up too much.
I also feel the show's built around the fact that aesthetically it's meant to look super duper anime, which is meant to be all the more jarring and like shocking when you see the cracks in the facade and you see the actual true nature.
Specifically moe anime, but yes, is what it's supposed to look like. So yeah, to answer your question, I'm okay with the fact they kept those in there, and I don't think that they should have even gone the extra mile to try to find a way to write around it. That could have actually been more detrimental if they did.
I agree. But yeah, like I said, I've said my bit on the presentation of honorifics in this dub. I think it works very well. Also, the fact that I really love the direction and delivery in some of these characters' performances. Like, I'm pretty sure every character in this show gets, like, at least one big moment to really show their everything's gone to shit, I'm losing control of everything moment. And the delivery on some of these lines, some of these screams, and some of these moments of desperation, like, a character I didn't think much of at first, Risan, has some of, like, the sharpest lines and some of, like, the most chilling deliveries I think I've heard in this entire show. Like, the presentation, like, the delivery of some of her lines about, like, what they should do about her getting about Yuki getting better from her condition, and Risan straight up saying her getting better isn't our concern, is straight up. I just love the delivery and, like, the edge of that, where it's like there's this dichotomy and there's this strictness there. It's like they love her, but they also kind of depend on her to have this joy and springness that makes Miki uncomfortable, but they kind of live with because it's the only way they can keep joy in their life. There's a lot of little things like that, and, like, the freak out moments, the cry moments. Boy, the cry moments. The script is solid. The delivery by the actresses is fucking fantastic. Even ones I wasn't sure of at first, everybody gets at least one moment that I think impressed me throughout. All in all, amazing job throughout.
Even Taro-maru?
Especially Taro-maru.
just top tier writing. I don't know how they wrote that character, but
the dog was
Shakespearean
best
dialogue.
dog.
He really was the best dog.
Taro-maru for
like
best dog, Dubbies 2017.
Look,
Absolutely.
Taro-maru was even saying shit like, I'm the cutest ever, I love you, please love me. Or you saying straight up gangster rap lyrics. It's possible. That doggy, like,
We don't know what his previous owner was like. She could have been like that hardcore.
She was
granny.
a sweet old lady. She probably listens to Wu-Tang Clan on the regular.
That-
I said Wu-Tang Clan. Wu-Tang Clan. That's what I meant. I'm tired.
Noah-chan.
I think Noah, unless you have any other thoughts you'd like to add to this, I think now is the perfect time to move on and talk about our favorite doggy companion.
No. I have to say, I have to say this. I am so glad. I was worried at first, and I'm so glad that this did not turn out like the last zombie show that Sentai dubbed.
What last saw?
Which one?
Oh.
High School of the Dead.
No! That is, like, in my list of worst anime of all time.
And that,
Wow.
if I'm not mistaken, that was the last time that Sentai picked up and dubbed in English anime zombie show.
Ugh.
Boy.
Well, to be
Boy,
fair,
well,
there aren't many.
There aren't many because in Japan, like, there actually is a whole cultural stigma about, like, spirits and stuff like that. So zombie media exists, but it is rare and few in between. On that matter, I'd love to see an anime of I Am a Hero. That's another story for another time.
It is.
But yes, this is nothing. Sarah Palin is nowhere to be found in this. But
There are no-
thank
yeah.
God for that.
Yes, and I'm so glad there are no memes. There is, like you said, Gigi, it's very natural sounding dialogue. They don't use chintzy slang. They don't use unconvincing speech patterns. And yeah, I am really glad that they directed it this way, because Sentai has, like, if there's one really good thing that Sentai consistently does, it's they seem to balance the drama and silly moments. Like, they make some really goofy dubs. But in this case, this worked out really well, because the goofier moments, especially with Yuki's delusions and the other characters trying to rewrite the reality to sound more like a moe slice of life comedy, which would put you to sleep if it wasn't a zombie show.
It's true.
Turned out really well.
The goofy and the drama kind of go hand in hand and speak for themselves. They didn't really need to add humor or drama because it was already there. They just had to work at adapting it. And it worked perfectly.
Thank goodness for that too. Yeah, I was a little worried that maybe they wouldn't have thought that the content would stand on its own. Once I figured out what the show was about, I was like, oh, I hope they don't go in this direction. But no, they played that razor's edge really well. And some of the lines that they in the writing specifically, I noticed that they tried to they try to draw some parallels between where they're going in their life and the zombie reality around them. Like, near the last episode, they're out of power and they have to decide if they're going to go to the safety shelter in the nearby university, or if they're going to go towards the
if they're
business.
going to school, or if they're going into the workforce, which is a very real thing, even if you're not suffering from zombie and mental destruction.
It was very on the nose. It was like, where are we gonna go in life? And I'm like,
or sometimes you get married, or sometimes you get married and you marry your trusty shovel.
Either way, there was
Kurumi x Miss Shovel-kun is best OTP. Don't at me.
I forgot about that fantasy sequence.
Look, that shovel helped her. That shovel helped her through her last breakup. So that he's helped her through a lot, especially with her last breakup. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, at this point in time, I'm about ready to marry a shovel. So true life fact.
Go find you a man who can do both.
She likes her boys with a little bit of an edge. You know what I'm saying?
Dig a hole.
Nerds.
Dig a hole. Dig a hole. Dig a hole. This hole keeps getting bigger. Anyways, speaking of holes, let's bury the hole for our next character.
No, abort segue. Segue.
No, I had to work with that.
No. I'm already calling it now. Worst segue ever.
Okay, fine. I'm gonna have to throw you a bone for that one, Noah, and it's time for us. It's time for us to talk about Taro-maru.
Oh,
Taro-maru, I want a joke and I want a kid. But fucking Taro-maru. The second time! This is my second viewing of the show. Taro-maru made me lose my shit.
Oh god. Over a dog?
Taro-maru.
Really?
You didn't think it was gonna happen, did you?
So, no, here's the thing. I figured it was inevitable. The part I thought he would just be cold. The worst was the fake out of the bit of hope, and then finally passing. Oh.
Yeah.
By the way,
was
here's
the
a fun
fake out.
fact. Taro-maru, for the most part, is anime only. Believe it or not.
Really? I guess I haven't gotten that far in the manga. I'm only on
He
volume
straight up
4.
has a chapter or two as a stray dog, but then he's kind of gone early on since they find him and he's got a bit of a scratch on him.
So these lurch bastards went the extra mile to make this even more heartbreaking than it already was?
Oh yes, they did.
So who's
I can
breaking
almost respect that.
Who's breaking your heart, Andrew? Who's best dog?
Little Taro-maru, whose little puppy yelps are voiced by Tiffany Grant. Tiffany Grant, you might know from such other mascot characters as Potato from Air, Koro from Akame ga Kill, Yonakuni from Maria Holic, Jonathan the Seal from Kaleido Star,
No!
and everybody's favorite mascot, Asuka Langley Soryu from Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Oh, she was the best pet in that show.
She was Potato and the seal?
Oh, yeah. You didn't know that?
I don't...
I
Well,
did
I
not-
watched those so long ago, I didn't really pay attention.
Like,
See,
as soon as
I made sure to go for a theme of mascot characters that
Yeah.
didn't talk much.
Like, as soon as I heard that Tiffany Grant was voicing this, I was like, just chalk this up to another Tiffany Grant role where she gets to voice an animal. And I specifically thought of Kaleido Star was the first one I thought of.
Oh
But
my
I have a
God.
question. So, Gigi, how good was Tiffany as everybody's favorite little doggy pupper?
I mean, I don't like dogs, but this is the most emotion I've ever heard from a dog. It beat the dog in the Royal Tutor. Hey. But then she was also
Oh,
a
God.
zombie dog.
The fucking phrasing you said for beating the dog.
Oh, fuck you.
I'm sorry. I made myself sad.
Okay,
It doesn't
all
really
right.
come to that, it's...
I loved her as the zombie dog.
Oh yeah, no, that was genuinely terrifying. Because you went from straight up bow, 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 ruff, 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 to straight up gnarling, vicious creature of the night. And it hurt.
And it really throws us off because I don't know about you guys, but I didn't understand if the zombie thing was happening to only humans or if it could affect other mammals as well. So that was a real surprise that turns out, yep, it can get dogs too.
Yep.
The zombie virus can get everything. I guess what I liked best about her was that she actually sounded like a real dog. Like, as opposed to, like, some of them, they say, like, a weird word and it's supposed to sound like a dog. What am I talking about? Like, I'm thinking of cats, and they go, nya, nya.
I think you're thinking of
cat. What a cat
in
sounds
anime,
like.
it's cats. Mm-hmm. Everybody gets them to say nya, 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 nya. I don't know what it is for dogs. It's probably just...
Wan Wan.
Yes, Wan is it.
Wan.
Yeah, no, she sounded like a dog.
Is that really?
I mean, I don't mean that with any disrespect. Bark. She sounded like a real live dog, which A++++. I can't believe she was potato.
So, you learn something. Remember, Dub Talk listeners, you learn something new every day. Trust me, researching these is always fun because you learn a couple of these that you didn't know, like how two actresses play the same character in a show I like. Anyways,
that happens irrelevant.
A lot. But I'll explain more of that when we get there. So yeah, Taro-maru is such a good boy, and the most heartbreaking, like, development in the show was Taro-maru's, like, distancing from Miki and then reuniting as friends only shortly enough before he gets Zambambified. And it hurts. It's so cute. She's like, looks like she's straight up about to cry. And it's like, I didn't expect the pool episode where everybody's got bomb-ass bikinis on to make me feel emotions, but here we are.
Now, I had a question about that. At the beginning of that pool episode, we see both Taro-maru and Yuki are covered in what looks like the green algae that built up on pools, right?
I think it's moss or something, but yeah.
Right. But when you first saw that, did any of you think that it was actually supposed to be blood, but we were only seeing it as moss because of Yuki's delusions?
No. I feel like by that point, it was already clear what the show saw through Yuki's eyes, and we already were seeing the world around us. I don't think the show would have lied to us about that. I think it was pretty clear that was algae. Also, it's adorable when she tries bathing the dog and he just doesn't want it.
But it's just an excuse to give us more fan service shots.
It's... everybody's fucking adorable, so hey, whatevs. Anyways, I will say, there's not much to say in terms of lines and delivery, but I thought Tiffany Grant was, in fact, excellent as everybody's favorite doggy sidekick, Taro-maru.
It's kind of cheesy as a performance. It's not... Like, she's no Frank Welker or Dee Bradley Davis when it comes to voicing believable animal voices.
You mean Dee Bradley Baker. I have the burning fedora. It's Dee Bradley Baker. Get it right.
You're right. That is Appa, that is Momo, that is a lot of animals and a lot of Nickelodeon shows. I apologize, Dee.
Okay, continue.
But yeah, Tiffany's performance of it is believably cheesy. Like, you could tell that it's, like, they didn't take audio from actual animals to get that. But you know what? That's totally okay, because the design of the dog of Taro-maru is also very cartoonish. You know, it's not the realistic look that we get of Ain from Cowboy Bebop or like any other, like, it's not Plague Dog's realism. So that kind of cheesy performance is totally okay. And then when we shift gears over into zombie Taro-maru, yeah, that was terrifying on levels that I didn't know Tiffany was even capable of. And I know she's done a lot of stuff in a range spanning a lot of years of voice acting. I don't think I've ever heard her get this animalistic before. Like, not even as, like, the End of Evangelion movie. Like, this was on a whole nother level.
Alright. So, with that being said... 10 out of 10, Tiffany Grant is a very good boy, which...
Full disclaimer, we are not promoted by We Rate Dogs at all. We're just a big fan of their product.
13 out of 10! Saved a teenage girl's life! Saved everybody's lives! Is an adorable little ball of energy. May he rest in peace. God bless you, Taro-maru. We love you.
They're good dogs, Andrew.
They're such good dogs!
Oh, Christ.
And now, I think it's time for us to move on to one of Taro-maru's other friends.
Speaking of Christ, who died for us, let's go on to the next character.
Boy, that is a. Where did that come from?
Bad.
She didn't even strike a T-pose once in the show. Come on, 10 out of 10. That's a very poor Christ. Anyways, we are referring to Miki's bestie, Kei Shido, who she was walking with her to the mall one day, and then zombies happened, to which they held themselves up for a number of weeks before Kei decided to make a run for it, and then we never see her again. Except
I hope she's still alive.
in the final
Don't spoil
episode.
it.
What do you mean, don't spoil it?
Don't spoil
we
if
didn't
she's
really
alive or
establish-
not.
We didn't establish the rules about what we would spoil or not. Like, we have the disclaimer.
No,
at the
did you
beginning of
just
the episode for a
fucking-
reason,
Oh, this
people.
is full on. Okay, we just talked about a dead dog. We are going full spoiler.
No.
Which, by the way,
no.
if you-
But
if
she
you would
never
like,
was in
there's
the
actually-
last episode.
What?
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about Kei.
Kay was never seen.
You're wrong.
You are wrong.
Are you talking about that last thing after the credits?
Yes.
That was
No,
fucking
no,
her.
no, no,
No,
not after the
no.
credits.
Gigi.
As they're driving away.
zombie, as they're driving away, the zombie that walks back to the school, that's Kei.
No.
Potentially.
It is.
Me
It straight up
thinks it
is.
Well,
Did
we
you
don't see
fucking
her
read the
face.
manga?
That's okay. No.
Don't
I
fucking
saw
spoil
that
it
show.
for me.
Fan theories.
Gigi, I'm really positive that's not a spoiler, and the zombie at the end was Kei. I
No.
could be wrong,
To
but
be fair-
I am like 99% certain.
Okay, but for the 1%,
99.
the only reason we think it's her is because we see Mii look at the zombie as they're driving past the school, and she thinks that that's Kei. That's the only confirmation we have. We don't have
And then at the end, there is a message to Kei that they zoom in on the blackboard saying, "I'm doing well. I'm glad I lived."
that. And again, that's
The
that could
direction and the symbolism
It
is on the board. I am
Yes, yeah, I
so
agree.
certain
What about
that
at
zombie.
the very end, though? When the person
What do you mean?
picks up the thing that was in the balloon.
that is an original girl. That is a girl from later on in the manga. That is not Kei.
Are you
that is
sure?
a teaser to try to get
I
season 2
am
greenlit.
positive that is a different girl, and I am positive that the girl at the end of the series, when they're driving away, is Kei's zombified. We will move on, but I will stick to that. Okay, we are moving on.
Commenters at the bottom, tell either Andrew or Gigi which one of them is wrong. We need to determine this democratically.
But don't
Okay.
put any manga spoilers in the comments, because I don't
Yes,
want to know.
I don't even think Gigi. That's not a manga. Oh, whatever. Okay, I need to.
Now, who voices Kei when
Yes.
she's amongst the living?
The voice of Kei Shido is voiced by. I'm going to botch his name. Shania Moore. Shania Moore is voiced by. I don't know how to say that name. The voice of Kei has played such other parts as Coco Reeve from Cross-Ange, Alicia Shimada from Girls und Panzer the movie, Alina Hartgen from Chaika Avenging Battle, Kuon from Uta Wareu Mono The False Faces, and Tomoyo Kanzaki from When Supernatural Battles Become Commonplace. We got tongue twisters galore tonight.
Stop
Gigi.
talking.
And for if you want a way to pronounce that one show, just think of the word underwater Romano.
Underwater Romano. Okay, Gigi, would you like to lead us?
No. Sure.
Or is that a different one?
No, I think
I
that
can't see
I
what
don't
else you're
know.
looking at.
I think I know what
Alright.
you're talking about. Anyways.
Okay.
So,
We should refer
I'm
to the show
sorry.
by its Japanese name from going on forward. This is now Gakko Garashi, the dub talk episode.
Sit down.
School Live Look, we're already doing this at Gakko Garashi High School. That's why I said that at the beginning. Anyways, Gigi, please do give us your thoughts on Kei Shido.
Well, I really liked Kay. I liked her more than Miki. I'm just gonna say it straight up.
As
like
a
you're more
person
Miki.
or as the actress?
As the acting.
Okay.
In fact, when I was talking about how I think some actresses should have swapped roles, I think Miki and Kay's actresses should have swapped roles, because I really think that this performance had a ton of emotion in it for such a little part. And like, I've never heard anything this actress has done before, and I want her to succeed. Like, I really do. I really thought that this character was played with a very good head on her shoulders, because I probably would have done the same thing. I'd be like, let's get out. You have to try. You can't pee in a bucket for the rest of your life, even if there's a zombie apocalypse outside. So I really loved the tone of her voice, and I liked all of the emotion she put into this little character that could have been a throwaway for somebody else. So I really liked this performance, and I think that if they would have swapped, I would have liked it even better. But
we will get to that later on in tonight's show.
And I will bring out the swords, and there will be blood.
I
There's
will
about
be the
to be a
one
war.
keeping you two in check. Believe me. Anyways,
Let me at her. Let me at her. Here, hold me back.
As for Kay, I put her down as being cute and free, but with a sense of anxiousness and desire to roam. And I thought that Miss Moore did a very good job at portraying that Miss or Mrs. I'm not going to assume or unassume. I just can't pronounce your name. I apologize.
Isn't it Shanae?
Just say more senpai.
More senpai.
Maybe I should be like Nei-kun or Nei-san. I made it funny. Anyways, no, I thought she did, even though it was brief, I thought that she did a pretty good job as Kay. I don't have as much to say for her as some of the other characters, so I will pass it on to Noah.
Yeah, I also don't have quite as much to say. It was a good role. It was just by virtue of being on the screen the least amount of episodes, the least memorable one, but that's not a bad thing at all. Like, I'm not dissing her performance at all by saying that. And actually, this brings up a good point that I forgot to mention in the writing portion. Kay gets a one line where she loses her composure and basically says, "We have to pee in a bucket. That's disgusting." Now, I'm really glad that the writing actually kept out a lot of crass details, because there was the potential for them to get, a little raunchier with the wording on it, like be a little more graphic in descriptions. But I'm glad they kept it as clean as you can, considering the art style and what they were going for. So,
are you saying you thought it would have been like very distracting if it's like, God, you want to shit in your bucket the whole life or something like that? Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah,
even if it was PG language or actually PG-13 language, not just swearing, but just like less listenable dialogue would have definitely distracted from the performance, from the overall show. So
like, she could have gotten like really, really angry and like get like me, where I curse a lot, or like just get like really off the wall, but she didn't. So that's a good on to the writing.
Right,
yeah,
like we said, Sentai has done that in the past in some shows before. Not so much nowadays. They seem to be doing better about this.
You mean like Diabolic Lovers, More Blood? Where we say
when
fuck
the
for no
style
reason?
is appropriate.
Gigi, not every show is Diabolic Lovers. I know this is not the good example to say, considering the writer of Diabolic Lovers is on tonight's show, but that's another story for another time. Point is, I get the point you're saying, Noah, and I do agree with you on that.
Right, So wonderful job on you, Mrs. Moore. I don't have any bad things to say, and me and Gigi will have words more about her discussion of the other
character another
later.
night. Anyways, you did a great job, ma'am, and 10 out of 10. I'm glad you found your way back to the school. I'm totally right,
Andrew,
by the way. Please tell me I'm right.
Get it, girl. I hope you get more parts.
All of them.
Okay. Anyways.
Get it, girl.
Hold up. This is odd. I could have sworn I had another section planned, but I don't seem to see anything here for it. I'm not sure. Were we supposed to talk about somebody else right now?
Don't you bring this evil on our house, Andrew.
Were we supposed to talk about somebody else?
Don't you see her? She's right here. Right next
See
to me.
who?
It's Megan. It's Megune. Surprise, she's going to be on this episode with us too. I can't do episodes without her anymore.
Gigi, that's not an appropriate name to
Gigi.
use for your teacher.
Look, she only teaches me about Fujo stuff.
Gigi, your Fujo teacher. She died months ago.
What?
She's been gone. She's been gone for so long. She's
passed.
not here anymore.
Look, don't
Okay.
destroy my dreams, Andrew.
Well,
Also, the Easter Bunny doesn't exist. I'm sorry to be able to tell you.
Who brings me
so
chocolate?
now is the time to bring up the next character on the docket tonight, and that is Miss Megumi Sakura, otherwise known as Megune.
Megune.
Straight up, one of the single most effective reveals in this show outside of the first episode was the deal with Megune. Cause I appreciate, like, I never got that on the first watch. I never got it on the first watch. The
I
second
did.
watch, though.
I got it.
The second watch, though, it's so fucking clear. It's
Okay,
so
but-
clear.
But did you or did you not catch it in episode 3 before they did the Megune reveal in episode 6? Because
I did
Mickey
not-
straight
oh,
up Mickey straight up says Megune was.
Yeah.
And I was like, they
I
just
did not
blew it in
catch
episode
that,
3.
actually. That did not catch me. I did not catch that at all, actually.
Really?
Now, the show...
It's such a subtle thing that you could easily, like, you could read into it, but you could also easily miss it and be like, it's whatever.
Well, there's a very... You miss it because the show intentionally misled you, because they had a whole episode spoken from Megune's perspective in first-person dialogue. So she's saying it like, oh, this is like a flashback from, like, before this all happened. But I'm still alive to tell you this flashback. So they lied. They flat out lied to you.
But I wonder if
it's
that
so
was
good.
on purpose or not.
Of course it was on
It
purpose.
absolutely was on purpose.
But
The
did
whole
they
show
do
was
it
on
in the
purpose.
Japanese?
Do what?
The
Did they
first-person
straight up
perspective, you mean?
spoil that Megune was dead in episode 3?
I cannot confirm that to you. I don't think that was... If it was there, it was probably intentional or meant to be like, what's up? But I don't think... I disagree that it was a straight-up spoiler. That was just something where it's like, you could read into it or you blink and you miss it. But before
I mean,
we go
maybe
more
I just
into
got it because I was like intentionally trying
Looking
to
for it.
see when they were going to say that she was dead because I couldn't remember.
Exactly.
I couldn't remember
Exactly.
when they blew it.
like,
Want-
you
The
You
thing
caught
that
it
probably
more.
tipped you off, that could have tipped you off if you had an inkling of a noticing, was when they had to get the car. And you're
Yes.
wondering to yourself, why is Kurumi the one who's getting the car? Should the
You're
teacher
right,
be
you're
the one who
right.
gets-
That's what
That-
that's what tipped me off the first time I watched it. I was like, why doesn't she just drive her own fucking car?
You're right.
Mhm.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
I
Anyways.
also, I still
Oh.
didn't assume that.
Children, class is still in session, and I need to direct today's lesson.
There's nobody there! This whole class is dead! Even the teacher is dead! It's all over!
The teacher's
Go
over here!
home!
The teacher's over here! My senpai's over there! My kohai's over there! Her braids are over there! Hers is in the flowers!
The choker is over there, and why are there
By the way,
all the sports meetings outside?
completely unrelated, I love the whole scene when it's like she's explaining who Taro-maru is to the choker girl, and it's like, well, he wears a collar, and sometimes he tries pouncing on top of me, and sometimes he pulls my skirt up just
That
because
was
he's
the
so
part that
excited.
I swear to God I think David Wald wrote. Please confirm or
I
deny.
can
You're
believe-
probably right.
I can believe you. Anyways, with that said, it's time to talk about who is playing the lovely teacher, Megane, and that is Stephanie Whittles. Stephanie Whittles has played such other roles as Kyoko Ibuki from Clannad, Aoi Misato from Tokyo Majin, Misaki Nakahara from Welcome to the NHK, Kano Kirishima from Air, and Toka Toto from Chivalry of a Failed Knight. Now, Gigi, what did you think of our beloved Megane?
Megune was one of the roles I would have swapped again.
Oh.
But I don't know. See, here's my thing with Megune. I think she sounds too young, but her dialogue is so mature that it like bumps her age up to you want to think that she's old, but she really in my head sounded just like one of the kids, which is fine. That's kind of like what they were going for, but I thought that when she was trying to make herself sound young, like usually during like the last episode previews and stuff, she sounded too old. So I don't
Weird. Okay.
It's very strange. I thought it was very
So to you it's like when she's trying to sound old, she sounds too young, but when she's trying to sound young, she sounds too old?
Yes, I thought it was just very strange. I thought it was slightly off, and I don't know if it was done that way on purpose because, I mean, hi, she's dead, and maybe we're just listening to her through Yuki's memories right now instead of what she actually would have sounded like. But on the same token, I can't think of how I would actually want her to sound. Now, she's not the role that I was going to swap with Kay, but I do want to swap her with a different actress. But I thought it was off to me.
We could
I
speak
bet I know which one you're thinking
hypotheticals.
of.
We could speak hypotheticals about who could have, would have, or should have played It's Who and What all night. But
well, I'm going to talk about it when we get to the other characters. But
Right.
I wouldn't swap her with Kay. But there's something off about it, and
you had gripes.
I can't put my finger on it.
Now, do you have any qualms with you have qualms with the way her voice sounded? Do you have qualms with her acting?
No, not really. I thought she did really good, like when she was writing in the diary. I thought that was really good. I feel like there's something off.
It's something about the voice didn't quite sit with you correctly.
Yeah.
I understand, because I definitely recall her actress in Japanese being a very distinct big sister type seiyuu actress. I don't know the actress per se, but I know the kind of thing you're trying to go for. I will say, though, this was one that took me a little bit to get used to myself, but push comes to shove, she actually did the moments justice. Like, she's airheaded and cute, with an aura of confidence and seriousness when the chips are down. Like her, I think some of the comedic timing is definitely a little weird and off myself. Doesn't quite like click as well. But I will say, her dramatic moments and like the big moments of like her trying to remember the kids, like when shit's going down. And in the final scene where she talks to Yuki in the penultimate episode, I think she's fantastic. She's fantastic in like the dramatic moments.
That messed me up so badly. It's like we're hearing a voice that it's almost like an echo, and it's coming from down the hall. But no, it's just in Yuki's head. But
like at that point, she is straight up like we do not even see Megune at that point. We only hear her because we are Yuki in that moment, and we see her as like a ghost.
We are Yuki, yeah.
We see her as a ghost, and it's so ominous, but the fucking reveal of like when she finally opens the door and like after you're seeing the bright sunshine of what she wants to see and then the reality of where she died and all the blood splattered. It's such a good moment. It hurts so good. And honestly, I'll say this. I do think she sounds a little weird with the comedic timing and some of that sounds a little off. The dramatic beats, which was what was necessary for Megane, I think Stephanie nails.
I agree with you.
I'll agree with that. Yeah, Stephanie, I've had a mixed history with some of Stephanie's performances, and it kind of ties into what Gigi was saying about her natural voice, because whenever she tries to play a high school student, even if her acting is okay, the voice on it always sounds older, like it's not a convincing enough high school voice, which is a lot of what her characters have been in the past. So I was really glad that she got to actually voice what's supposed to be an adult character here. I'm assuming that she's probably like in her mid-20s because she has just gotten her teaching degree and doesn't quite have the confidence of a seasoned teacher yet and still views her students almost like fellow friends, even though you're not supposed to do that as a teacher.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I could totally buy that she does sound like younger or a little like naive and inexperienced, since that's what she's supposed to go for.
Right, and I don't think I've ever heard Stephanie play this kind of voice, because a lot of times she'll have, if it's a moe voice, it'll be the aloof, but it's supposed to be, like, you're supposed to overlook that kind of voice. But in this case, we're not supposed to overlook her airheadedness, because it gets called out a lot, and it also kind of lends itself to the charm of her character. So I'm glad that Stephanie got a chance to kind of stretch her chops on this one, because this art style, I did not realize until like maybe episode 2 that she was supposed to be a teacher. I thought she was like maybe just supposed to be an older student
or an advisor, until you realize that the little kid that looks like she just got out of middle school is a senior. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even as someone who really likes Lucky Star or a lot of KyoAni shows where the look does not match the age, even that was like, I don't know about this one. It's probably because I watched Assassination Classroom not too long ago, and it's the same studio who did this one, and the design of the school is kind of similar, and some of the faces look kind of similar too.
I'd say the character designs are completely different from Assassination Classroom.
It depends on which character we're talking about. Like, that was another show that could also kind of trick you into thinking some characters were different than what they actually were.
Absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, and this one, we're going to talk about Stephanie in a future episode for a very recent Sentai
probably
show.
Probably a couple episodes.
Which one it is.
A couple episodes probably down the road.
This is my favorite Stephanie role, I think, that I've heard in quite a while. And so, especially for those dramatic moments, it balances out really well. And she was actually responsible for the 2 most mind-rapey scenes in the entire show for me. The first was when Yuki is remembering them driving home from the mall, and she's like confused because she's trying to picture her in the car, but she's not actually there, and she has like a mental breakdown moment. And the second scene was when we actually see where Megune is in the last half of the show, and we see that she's like trying to write. She was trying to write a message to her students as she's losing her mind, and we see a bit of the scrawling says, "I'm hungry."
Oh god,
that fucked me up so badly.
The Notebook was especially painful because that's straight up her in her final moments trying to remember, and it's like the clear thing of even if zombified, there's that lingering feeling that in the show, especially, that memories still exist even once zombification happens. So even then, it's like her trying to hold on to what she remembers, but her urges and like bloodlust still getting to her, and that hurt.
It just killed me when the blood dropped on Kurumi's name. And I was like,
oh yeah.
Okay, so I will talk about this more. The direction, the fucking straight up anime direction in this show is stellar.
It's so good.
Sound design, the visual presentation and direction of certain scenes, certain moments, fucking fantastic. Like, that's what elevates this series so much for me. And I think it's time that we lay our beloved Megane to rest and move on with our lives.
Gigi, the shovel, if you will.
Grace, how sweet the sound.
Her fucking tomb is right in the first episode, and you didn't even realize it. God damn, the show's amazing. This show hurts, man. All right. So now that we've gone from advisor, I believe it's time to meet the lovely ladies of the School Life Club. First, with our very responsible leader, it's time we discuss Yuri Wakaza, otherwise known as Risan. So, Risan is the beloved big sister type, very kind, friendly, but when things don't go her way, she's got a little bit of a scary side to her. Especially when things happen. Oh boy. So,
we have a big sister character. Who amongst the esteemed Sentai pool of actors could we possibly get to pull this off?
I'm glad you asked, Noah. And the person who is playing our beloved Risan is none other than Lucy Christian. Lucy Christian, you might be familiar with such other roles as Nagisa Furukawa from Clannad, Vivi Holopainen from Chaika the Coffin Princess, Elsie from The World God Only Knows, Minori from Log Horizon, and Beatrix from Diabolic Lovers, just to name a few.
Wow, I didn't know you were gonna go there.
Gigi, I know you're on board with this. I made several of these choices especially for you and Noah. Anyways.
Aww.
Don't never say I don't care. Anyways. Gigi, what did you think of Lucy Christian?
Well, first off, I straight up couldn't recognize her until I looked at the credits at the end.
Thank you.
Could not recognize her. I was like, no, who is that? Like, I kind of like them. It sounds sort of familiar, but I can't quite put my finger on it. And then I saw the credits and was like, you're shitting me. So I had to watch episode 2 and I was like, oh, well, maybe.
Lucy is a goddamn wizard.
She is so good. I love Lucy Christian so much. She's in my top voice actress harem for sure.
Lucy has a lot of years of experience at this point, and this role shows for me.
I love Lucy Christian so much that, like, my mom gave me an Audible subscription because she's like, you should at least listen to books in the car when you drive all these damn places you do. So what did I do? I just downloaded all the ones that Lucy Christian narrates.
So speaking of books, can we talk about the fact that Miki was reading a Stephen King novel called The Stand, which is straight up about like a post-apocalypse after a virus like destroys the world.
Yes.
God damn, the foreshadowing in episode 1 is so good, especially on the rewatch. I'm sorry, I'm sorry I interrupted you. Please continue.
It's all good.
We'll talk about that more when we get to Miki.
We will. I thought she sounded more mature than any of the other girls. I thought she sounded more mature than Megune, which I would not have been sad if Lucy and Stephanie swapped roles.
I knew that was the one you were gonna say.
I knew you knew. I knew you knew it. I really liked her as Risan. I thought she was super moe cute, especially in the pool episode, which is like my least favorite episode of this, obviously.
But even then, she's a badass.
I know. I loved her so much in it. I was like, oh my god, actually Risan gets a personality in this episode. Awesome. But I gotta say, guys, the pain that she has when she's babysitting Kurumi.
Oh god. That is not an easy decision.
The knife,
that was not an easy decision.
That is what hurt me.
Like, I could feel the terror in her face. Good god. That is never an easy situation to have to deal with. It's like, straight up,
How would you know that, Andrew? How would you know about the difficult decisions about whether or not to kill your best friend because they're turning into a zombie? Do you speak from experience?
I played Telltale's The Walking Dead, which is basically the same thing, to be honest. Anyways, as for what I think on Lucy as Risan, Lucy's adorable and amazing. That would be enough said, but I feel she has, like, she's the most, sort of, like, responsible and cute and kind of sweet, but she has some moments where the delivery on certain lines that are executed have such a strong undertone to them that it straight up, like, caught me off guard. Like I said, like,
she bites in this. Like, she's bites
got
hard.
some bite, which is probably inappropriate to talk about since we're talking about a show about zombies, but
I'm gonna let that joke pass.
The point still stands. Yeah, like I said, the idea that it's straight up her saying about Yuki's condition and her getting better isn't our concern. Just there's so much eeriness in that line. There's so much fucking depth into that's scary. The idea that they want her to be happy, but, like, use her to calm their nerves in this fucking naive fantasy. It's fascinating and it's scary and it's fucked, but it's really interesting. I also love the delivery of, like, her talking about, like, reliving, like, Miki going on with her nightmares and just the way she says, I have that dream every night. And it's just, it's like she's clearly being responsible since she is the one that has to lead them since the one who was there is no longer there, but boy, she's got some
and Lucy
shit to
Christian's
work with.
been around the block so much with her voice acting that she just brings depth to these characters. And one that I'm surprised that you did not mention, I know because this is a Sentai show, but she brings so much depth to Ochako, who's a character who I normally would not like until she, fought with Bakugo, and then I was like, oh, okay, I can get behind this shit. So
I am glad you brought that up, because I was so pissed off at everyone who said, "Oh, Ochaku is just a Mary Sue character." Like during the first
those
season.
people!
And we were like,
Fuck those people!
You mother cluckers! You just wait and see. You wait and see. This girl is going to make the training, or the what's it called, the fighting arc,
the school
tournament
festival.
art.
Thank you. I was gonna say student arc, but I'm like, no, that's a different show. Yeah, that scene.
Yeah, no, Lucy Christian, she's spectacular. Do you have any other particular things you want to add to this, Noah, or if we basically said it all?
I almost didn't recognize that it was her, and that was also because she not only can change her voice from high-pitched Nagisa to lower pitch, but she can also change her speech patterns, and she's done that in a couple shows before. Like, she actually plays 2 different characters in Kaleido Star that you don't know because she voices them with different speech patterns.
By the way, I'm interrupting for you for a second. Another role, like, she's got some versatility. I didn't mention this one. Freaking Medusa from Soul Eater.
Soul Eater.
Like,
Yep,
that sounds...
Yeah.
Listening to Lucy then and now, it's like... Going from Medusa to Nagisa from Clannad is straight up night and day freaky.
I'm always surprised by people who say that their first exposure to Lucy Christian was Nagisa from Clannad, because she'd been voice acting main shows for like 10 years by the time that dub came out. So I'm like, you guys have a lot to catch up on.
Lucy's got a lot of work under her belt, and her performance as Risan shows.
And the part that caught me the most, though, was there were parts of this where I didn't think I was gonna like this character. I was kind of like Gigi too, where I said, like, well, she doesn't quite get as much of a personality. But it was during their when they go on their mission down to the school store in the middle of the night to get supplies, and she's got this commanding persona about her that she's like laser focused on getting everything done without becoming so cold-hearted, and that's really hard to do. Like, I almost envision the character as someone who is smiling with no eyes at all, like that kind of dead-souled but still chugging along persona to her. And I'm really glad that Lucy was like able to dig deep down and get that out of her. Like, probably as a mom herself, she like dug a lot of her maternal self into the role. Thank you, Lucy, for auditioning for this role.
Well said, Noah. Well said. And I'm going to take that bit about digging and dig a little further to talk about who, in my personal opinion, is the best... I'm good at segues! Never doubt my skills!
You suck like a straw!
I almost wanted to play that straight, but I had to toot my horn a little bit. Anyways, time to talk about my personal best girl in this show.
Is it best girl?
Kurumi Ebisuzawa.
Girl, best.
I know, Gigi! Yeah, internet high five!
High five! This is the first time we've ever agreed on anything.
Okay, nah, there has to have
like
been
suckers
some...
for Snaggletooth or what?
Dude, she's got twin tails. She's got the snaggletooth.
She is the
she's
cutest.
a badass and she's adorable.
She has
and the
striped
shovel
arm
makes her
warmers.
look awesome.
She has a shovel.
Yes, she does.
She's adorable and a badass, and that does a lot for me. And she's straight up the best. Also, she's showed early on as being the one who had to make the ballsy decision to basically kill the guy he was in love with, realizing this guy's fucking dead.
That hurts my life.
And there was something even more effective about the way they showed her doing it. Like, they didn't show splat, splat, splat. It's, cut to black. Slams down, cut to black. Slams down, cut to black. Just, like, you didn't even see it. You just felt it.
If that guy was still alive, I bet he'd actually go for it, because, in the immortal words of a wiser person than myself, I love a woman who can kick my ass.
Amen. Anyways, she's, like I said, she's into men with a bit of a deeper edge. Anyways, I think it's time to talk about... okay, you signed up for an episode with me. Segues and puns. That's what you were expecting. That if you didn't expect that, that's your own damn fault. Okay? Okay.
It's too late.
Do you know how long
Anyways.
it's been since I've done an episode without another girl in it? It's been me and girls for the past year.
Gigi, you are an honorary male for this night.
Great.
Look,
I'll
it's
just
okay.
be the shovel.
Look, Gigi, we're glad you could be a part of this three-way, but that's aside the point. Let's talk about...
Okay. We're going for something emotional there, Andrew. We're trying to make it special, and you went and you ruined it with your testosterone.
Oh, lordy.
How dare you?
Look, we're talking about some sad stuff tonight. We need to lighten it up with a little crude humor, you know what I'm saying?
Not like that. I don't even want to think about the doujinshi that this show has generated.
I'm
And
waiting.
I know you've
You know what? No! Stop! Because it is straight up goes to places you don't want it to go!
I knew you've seen it before, you naughty boy. You gotta stop retweeting those lewd Pokemon.
Okay! You know, at some point I straight up should just make like a not safe for work Twitter just to... What
Yes.
the fuck are we talking about? Oh, right, we're talking about
We're talking about Best Girl. Best
Best
Girl
Girl.
besides me. Best Girl.
Best Girl, Kurumi Ebisuzawa is voiced by Juliet Simmons. You might have heard Juliet Simmons in such other roles as Kurame from Akame ga Kill, Shizuzu Kurogane from Chivalry of a Failed Knight, Tenri Ayukawa and Diana from The World God Only Knows Goddesses, Ryoko Sato from Aura, and Chio Sakura from Monthly Girls, Nozaki-kun. Now, Gigi, what did you think of Juliet Simmons?
Best Girl?
Aside from being Best Girl, which is pretty much a fact, but continue.
Well, actually, I'd never heard anything she did until we did the My Love Story episode, and she played Best Girl in My Love Story too. Like, I think there's just something about her that I really like her acting and her tone of voice. I really like it. I think, and this is me, her playing Kurumi had the most emotion and the most passion out of the entire cast.
Bold statement.
I felt her so hard. Like, after she got bit, legitimately, I felt her pain. She was squealing on that fucking couch, and I was squealing right along with her. I was like, oh my god. Stop. It hurts so bad.
The screams... The screams are so convincing that she gives. It's fucking scary and amazing. Continue.
Like, she plays this so well because she has to be super strong, okay? She has to be super sensitive, too, because she's the romantic out of all of them. Because she's the one who's in love, and then she has to fucking hit him with Mr. Shovel, and then she falls in love with her shovel.
And
Kurumi.
she's the one that brings up, like, marriage as, like, a future thing.
Exactly. She's the girl with the shovel. And I just... everything that came out of her mouth was just so good and so well spoken and had a lot of emotion behind it. I thought her role was really well directed also, just because it's so hard for one person to have to go to all those different levels in the span of 13 episodes. So Kurumi was my favorite character before. Actually, Kurumi and Miki were kind of tied for my favorite characters, but this dub performance, like, Kurumi Best Girl all the way. Juliet Simmons did an amazing job, and she just keeps voicing my best girls, so
I agree.
I loved it.
I think that Juliet shows the perfect level of, like, spunk tomboy badassery while simultaneously having that sense of, like, sensitivity and vulnerability in, like, the scenes, like when she's talking about her feelings to Megane before the Zambambos hit the floor, and as well as all that. Like, she cares the most, that's why it hurts her the most, and goddamn, you see her screaming and, like, being so distraught and being like, that's why she doesn't want to see her friends suffer. She wants her friends to take her out before she can make them suffer. She's one of the ones that cares the most, even though she has to put on this act and be a badass, which I think she pulls off perfectly. And god damn those screams, holy shit, they hurt me. They hurt me
so bad and so good, but oh my god,
the pain hurts so
it hurts so good. It's just like my Saturday night.
It hurts
also,
so
we
good,
have the
but
handcuffs.
the pain...
We throw it in there.
It hurts so good, but the pain's so bad. Noah, take us out of our misery and continue.
Help me. The keys are over in the corner.
Okay, all right. I will make you appreciate this character even more than you already do because we love her. And I'm not gonna say she was the best girl, but she was at the very least second best girl. I'll agree with you at least that far.
Acceptable.
She serves in all zombie stories, you need, I think this would be called a tanker, is what it's referred to, as someone who deals out the massive damage.
Yeah, I could see that.
Now, usually in a show like this, or in an anime at the very least, the one person who's the fighter is also the one with the heart of stone, is like the quiet, reserved one with white short hair, is like the Rei Ayanami clone. And I'm really glad they did not do that in this show, that they gave her instead the almost the tsundere personality instead, without the flip-flop between I'm gonna kill you and you want to go have lunch on the school rooftop. So Juliet getting to play that kind of character for this role got the whole spectrum really well, because she's all peppy and perky when she's around everybody else, but then you see her vulnerabilities in instances where she goes off on her own and has to either beat off the zombies, or she sometimes gets cornered and like has to fight her way out of it. And she plays it all believably as the same character. I didn't feel a disconnect between the seriouser, I'm scared moments, and the looser, let's have a good time with some water guns kind of personality. To say nothing of the screaming, I do not know what you did, Shannon, to elicit this kind of performance out of Juliet. I don't know if you like threatened to smash her phone, or it was like holding her grandparents hostage off screen. Or,
imagine the time you stubbed your pinky toe, the worst, most imaginable pain like that.
That is not no.
Okay, Noah, I stubbed my toe so hard a few weeks ago, I felt the pain that entire day.
Understood, but did that make you swear?
It made me curse and swear like a motherfucker for at least 2 minutes, and I woke my roommates up, so yes.
Okay, good. But that's a different level of screaming. There is a rainbow of screaming. You know, it's a spectrum, like sex, you know? It's a spectrum of screaming. And in this case, we're not looking at, I stubbed my toe and I want to choke a motherfucker. We're looking at, I am losing my mind and I'm trying desperately to hold on to the little bit of humanity I have while the world is crumbling around me. And I kind of want to gnaw on my friend's hands because it looks really tasty. That is the level that Juliet gets to.
Well,
and how do you get to that level? Like, seriously.
Well,
good job.
I'm pretty sure somebody was just like, hey, we're gonna show your Twitter page to everyone you know and love. Because that girl shit posts a lot, and I love her for it.
Does she really? I'm gonna have to follow her on Twitter now.
You should.
Yeah,
she's got a YouTube page too. She does like a lot of Vocaloid covers too. It's great.
Oh, I love Vocaloid. But if you've seen her picture on ANN, it's like this cutesy picture with what is she holding? She's got a I don't know which character that is. It's like Chopper from One Piece or something like that.
I'm gonna have to look at that later, but you're probably wrong, whatever it is. Anyways, we're all in agreement that
as always.
We're all in agreement that Kurumi is fantastic and Juliet Simmons is equally as fantastic.
10 out of 10 would shovel again.
10 out of 10. 100 out of 100. Shovel-kun x Kurumi, it was always meant to be.
OTP.
Now,
is that one of the dojins?
Maybe.
I don't know. I'll get back to you on that.
You don't. No, please don't.
I prefer that. Look, I prefer that to anything with the zombies, okay?
Okay, whoever's editing this,
they
just
make
cut this part
dojin with
out.
the zombies?
Yes!
What?
They do!
Ew.
It's terrible!
When is necrophilia a thing?
Yes, it's the word. Okay. No, we will not soil my girl in that image. No, we will not.
Is this like a Zombieland Bill Murray kind of situation where they like pretend to be zombies so they don't get eaten by the zombies?
Noah, you naive, stupid fucking child. You know exactly what it is. You two are so out of control, and like you never behave yourself.
Are you gonna have to paddle us?
Unlike the beloved angel that is Miki Naoki, otherwise known as Mii-kun. Unlike you two, she is a very well-behaved club member, and she is a very good girl. Let's talk about Mii-kun, shall we?
You know we love you, Andrew. You know we just pick on you because we can.
It's because I'm the kohai, even though I'm the one currently acting like the senpai. Kinda like Mii-kun. And Yuki. Segways! Alright.
Okay, that was like a 3 out of 10.
I do my best. This is the one I'm especially gonna have to crack the whip on. Anyways, the actress who is playing the character of Mii-kun is Cynthia Martinez. Cynthia Martinez, you'll have heard in such roles as Iliasfeel von Einsburn from Fate Khalid, Kanabi no Mikoto from Air, Momoko Oginome from Cross Ange. She is the second voice of Chihiro Kosaka from The World God Only Knows, and she is the voice of Hermes from Kino's Journey.
I would have massacred you if you did not end on that, so thank you very much.
I was going to mention Hermes from Kino's Journey no matter what. So, from what I've heard from the two of you in passing, this is one that the consensus is completely split down the middle. So, I will do my best to let the two parties speak and not slit each other's throats. Alright, who wants to go
if we're
first?
Gonna be like, let's pretend like we're on debate team.
We are on
I used
debate
to do
team,
this.
yes.
So
There is
Noah,
much to debate.
which side would you like to take, Noah?
Actually,
I
believe...
Are you gonna take pro or con?
I believe we've...
Andrew.
I'm sorry.
Alright, as the person who really likes Cynthia Martinez's roles, and especially liked her in this, I'm gonna go pro Cynthia in the Mii-kun discussion.
I will take the con. So
By
as
your own admission.
pro, you get to go first.
Excellent. So, full disclaimer to everyone out there, Cynthia Martinez is one who both me and Gigi have heard in many roles in the past, and prior to going into this show. Like, we already had our own preconceived views of her acting before going into this. So this show did not change that at all, but it did kind of color kind of what our both of our reactions were to the character. Now, me, for one, Mii-kun is a character that's got a ball of nerves, like, not even just in the acting, but on the facial expressions, on all of her lines, her body language, all of it is just a ball of nerves of someone who you kind of feel like will never ever get her regular confidence back again. And as such, Cynthia has this natural rasp to her voice that isn't played up so much here. She plays kind of her more straight sounding voice, but it's still got her delivery. She's got this very distinct, almost like southwestern delivery in all of the many of the roles she's played. And I really liked it here. It really conveyed all of the worry in this character that kind of made me like her even more than I already did as just a regular, the character on paper was. So, that is pro me. Opening statements from Khan.
Well, my opening statement to the other side of this waifu war is that Miki used to be my favorite character in the Japanese. Like, aesthetically, this is like best girl, top tier waifu status. She's got the short blonde hair, which I like. She's kind of a secret slut. I mean, bitch wears garters. Like,
that they did make a point of showing that off. I'll give you that.
Like, the only good fan servicey part of this show was the fact that fucking Miki wears garters. And I was like, wow, she is like an undercover slut. So I was like, all right, go Miki. And I really loved her in the Japanese. Like, she was like so cool and reading Stephen King, and she could read in English, and I love this character so much. And then we got to the English dub, and Miki sounded like a stoic little robot, kind of like this, where I felt very much like the emotion was lacking in almost every scene, and I couldn't get behind it. Please, sir, with your rebuttal.
Well, I don't know if I can rebuttal a reaction to the Japanese comparison, because I did not listen to the Japanese. But, the emotion... Okay, you said that it was robotic sounding.
Yes,
Now,
and very stoic. As the character is very stoic, that's good, but it didn't sound to me like there was any emotion behind the stoicness. It just sounded super robotic.
Okay. There is a truth to that, but it fits within the context of the story, because each of these 4 main characters has a different defense mechanism that they use to survive the reality, like just to cope with what's going on. We've got Risan has serious laser-focused attention to get things done as effectively as possible. Kurumi is a little more perky, a little more spunky about it. And we'll talk more about Yuki's her own coping mechanism. Mii-kun is the one who just kind of shut down. Like, she was already, before this whole thing happened, sort of an unsure girl who was a bookworm, therefore wasn't much of a social person. So the added stress of everything going on with, she's lost a friend, she's lost everyone she's known, cannot really imagine surviving on her own. Like, she does almost die at one point, and would have if not for everyone else coming to save her. That believability, I got believability out of Cynthia's acting in it. Yeah. So, rebuttal to the rebuttal.
I didn't. I got acting in one point, and that was when she was reading the letter that she put in the balloon. That is the one time in the English dub where I felt emotion from Miki. That's the only time. I didn't feel it when the zombies were chasing her. I didn't feel it with the dog. I didn't feel it when she was locked in the room with Kay. Maybe because Kay's performance overshadowed it so much in my mind that I literally felt nothing from Miki at all. And is very, like, the character is very into logic, and she's into trying to figure everything out, but she's always like, shouldn't somebody tell Yuki that she's batshit crazy? And they're like, no. But she, like, gets it. Like, she knows what the hell's going on, and it's just, it's painful to not be able to discern through the voice, like, when the light bulb goes on and off. Like, you'd think there would be some kind of, like, biting tone or some kind of, like, confused tone or something, but I just felt it was one note through 98%.
All right, so we will keep, just for the sake of time and interest, we will go to final remarks from both parties. First, Pro Camp.
All right. The way to translate this into English, this particular type of role, could have gone in multiple directions, and I like the way that they did it in English because Cynthia has a very distinct delivery that I don't think any other actress has, and stands out in contrast to the other actresses, therefore makes it much more... it makes it for a more distinct and enjoyable listening experience, which I did not have a problem with, and I thought fit her plight in the series.
All right, final remarks, Khan.
I just wanted to feel something, and I have issues. Like, there are just some voices that just get to me. I won't list them all here, but just some of them just do not resonate with me well, and this is a personal thing, so I feel like kind of really bad saying it because this girl's been working for a very long time, but some of them just hit me the wrong way, and this one hit me the wrong way, not in a good way, like with the shovel.
And I'll concede, I have ones who we will actually talk about in a bit, who I've had a similar reaction to.
All right, so
Congratulations to the both of you. I did not have to step in at all during that. Part of it was other reasons, but aside from that, y'all did a fantastic job with that. Now, where do I stand?
Won?
I'll tell you.
I'll
tell
right?
you who I will decide as the winner, as my own personal opinion on the matter. I am I am siding with the Pro Camp.
No! I want my medal!
Here's my thing. It took a little bit to get used to the RAS, but this one grew on me for a bit. It actually worked really well to show her in regards to her frustration, her fear, and her confusion. And it's just, there's some great delivery in certain lines where it's like, I put particular note in, I don't know how to feel about it or why it scares me. Just the way she delivered that. And she gets the emotional beats for me, like when she like freaks out and she's crying and like holding him too hard, and especially in like the final episode where it's like, oh no, Dougie, no, that hurts. No. But yeah, no. I thought that Mii-kun, it took me a little bit to get used to, but I was surprised by Cynthia Martinez, and I am siding with Bro in this one. But there's no right or wrong to either of your stances. I thought you both had valid points.
Yeah, if there are listeners out there who had Gigi's same reaction to the performance, that I get where it's coming from. I don't share it, but I get it. And that is about as much conceit as you're going to get from
Opinions are a lot like zombies. They love eating everything around them.
I know that Noah really loves Cynthia Martinez. So I understand where you're coming from, because I think we should switch roles.
Switch roles?
Should we do it? Can you be a switch for tonight?
You mean like you want me to be on the anti-Cynthia side for a second?
No. I think in about as soon as Andrew makes a segue, we're going to switch.
I think you know what? Wait, you know what? I see what you're getting at.
You don't mean.
Let's invert
for
the way
last character.
Let us, ladies and gentlemen, invert our way of thinking. Let's see the world from another perspective. Let's put on our rose-tinted glasses, and then several minutes later realize those glasses weren't rose-tinted. Those are straight-up bloody glasses.
Cat ears for
tonight,
everyone. All of
it's
you.
time to discuss.
That was fucking good.
It's time we discuss our final character for tonight, our main character, Yuki Takeya. Yuki Takeya is the title character, and the one where we see, in her mind and in her eyes, not all is quite at odds with the world around her. And the entirety of the show is watching her suppress, deal with, and come to terms with the world and the life around her. And it breaks, it hurts, everything about it. You see this adorable little child, and I just want to give her a fucking hug and tell her everything's going to be daijoubu, because she fucking needs it. But alas, it's time to discuss who the leading lady of our leading lady is. And that honor goes to Brittany Karbowski. Brittany Karbowski, you'll know for such other roles as Mavis Vermillion from Fairy Tail, the first voice of Chihiro Kosaka from The World God Only Knows, Ryo Fujibayashi from Clannad, Chaika Bodwan, aka Red Chaika from Chaika the Coffin Princess, Arisu Marisato, the little pink-haired child from High School of the Dead, and Yuki Yoshida from Is This a Zombie? And yes, before you ask me, those were intentional.
Bravo.
Really? I couldn't tell. You're being so subtle about it.
For God's sake, she plays the pink-haired child in High School of the Dead, and she plays a character named Yuki in a show called Is This a Zombie? God damn, you can't get a more perfect segue than that.
Did they ever actually answer the question, is it a zombie?
He's a fucking zombie through and through, yeah.
Is it okay to pick up zombies in a dungeon?
He picks up a lot of girls, but it's Yu's best girl. Anyway, speaking of Yu, let's talk about Yuki. I'm gonna break the mold for this one, actually. I want to go first.
That's fair. we did shut you out of the last debate, so
We did.
Why don't you take this cat ears, put them on, just fit them on. Okay, you have the microphone. Give us our graduation speech.
Okay, Yuki is a perfect, adorable, naive little idiot, but she is absolutely, positively precious. It's like something where it's like just the delivery in all of her lines. There's always this quirkiness. There's always this lightheartedness, this joy and enthusiasm spring in her step. Just like all the scenes, like she gives me some genuine laughs. Like, especially in the first episode when she's talking about Taro-maru and she makes it sound like she's got a really pushy, like, very sexual boyfriend when it's just, oh, the dog's pulling her skirt, whatever. And then it's like, when she's chasing him down to try and give him a bath and she's like, her back and forth with Miki is really interesting because you have the stoic, like, basically stand-in, like, the everyman reacting to the eccentric person. But boy, holy shit. When those emotional beats kick in, holy shit. Her delivery in all of it, from her comedic timing to the dramatic moments, to the freak out moments, to the moment when she realizes everything's going on, to when she's realizing she has to part ways with Megane forever. It's goddamn perfect. Fuck, it's fucking perfect. How many notes do I have to make before I tell you how fucking perfect this is?
Yay.
But is it perfect?
It is. God
Top tier.
damn.
Now, you saw this in the Japanese, too,
I
right?
saw this
So,
in the Japanese too, so I had that
Yep.
perspective as well. So, like, there was a lot of good performances. There was a lot of other good performances, as well as some ones I had a little trouble getting used to, but grew on me. Kind of like with Megane and like with Mii-kun. But without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt in my mind, Brittany Karbowski as Yuki Takeya steals the show. Abso-fucking-lutely.
I'm going to side and say yes. I'm put her as best girl of the show.
All right, please continue.
Top tier.
It is top tier. And here's the... Now, me and Gigi have had for a while this debate over between Cynthia Martinez is my favorite and Brittany is Gigi's favorite. Now,
Yep.
I've had some problems with Brittany in the past, but I'm talking like a couple of years ago in the past. I have, in recent years, especially with Sentai reinstating, like, ramping up their dubbing more and hearing more of Brittany's roles in Funimation shows, I think I've become more of a Brittany convert in recent years, actually. So the issues I've had with her acting in the past were stuff like it wasn't very believable as a little girl, or it was so hammy that it took away from the charm of the character. And these are characters like Black Star from Soul Eater, IU from Canon, Maka from... I didn't like her performance. I really did not like her in Canon. And that was one of the first anime I actually bought. So that, of all the actresses in that, I really didn't like Brittany's IU in that. But in this, however, actually, there are a lot of similarities between Yuki and IU. They are characters who always carry around a backpack with wings on them and are delusional about what's actually going on in their high school.
True facts.
True facts.
I have to wonder if that was almost intentional that they cast Brittany in this and that role. But in this case here, her spunky, over-the-top cheerfulness in everything going on in life fits perfectly. It's not annoying and it's not grating on the ears because it's delusional. It's entirely in her head. It's a mechanism to try to protect herself from facing the harsh reality of what's going on around her. And I love that spin on this so much that it just added onto an already great performance by Brittany. Like, this is already good, what's the word I'm looking for? A good Genki girl is the term that they use in Japan. It's a Genki girl who was already really good with an added layer of this is so wrong once you find out what's actually going on around her.
Actually, before we continue onward, I would like to rectify a previous statement. I said Brittany Karbowski voiced Mavis Vermillion. That is not true. That is Leah Clark.
That's Leah Clark.
The actual answer is that Brittany Karbowski voiced Wendy Marvel. I will now go ahead and commit Sudoku in the corner. Gigi, continue while
Sudoku.
Continue while I
Oh my god.
9x9. That's not what Sudoku. You can't.
You mean seppuku?
You can't kill yourself.
Yes,
puzzle.
I mean seppuku. It was a play on words and it failed, and god damn it, I'm bleeding out here. Please continue with your thoughts on Brittany as Yuki.
Wow, that didn't go the way I thought it was gonna go, Noah. You kind of like shocked the shit out of me right now.
I shocked myself too, because like I said, I've had some issues with Brittany before, and I think the one thing that still slightly bugs me about her is that I don't always like it when I can tell a voice actress right away, and she's got a very distinct sound. Like, she's in a couple other Sentai shows that we will talk about coming out soon, and I can instantly tell it's her all the time. This is one case, though, where that didn't bug me in the slightest.
Interesting.
See, and it's really funny that you said that, because I didn't recognize her at first. Just like with
Really?
it bugged the shit out of me, because I was like, who is Yuki? Like, I know this. I hear the little whimper and the little rattle and the little the gravel in her voice, and I was like, I know you. Who are you? And then it was fucking Brittany Karbowski, my top tier #1 voice actress wife. And I wanted to commit Sudoku in the corner with Andrew, because I was like, no, why?
Take a knife, it's fun.
I know.
Now, I'm curious, Gigi,
I'm gonna do it with the shovel.
What was the role of Brittany's you heard that made you love her? The first one you heard that made you put her at the top of your list.
It wasn't the first one I heard, but the one that I liked the most was Yamada and Bigata HK.
Ah,
Oh, okay.
That makes sense.
Because
still have
that's
to watch
basically me in an anime, and I was like, yep, that's the one. She's my wife forever. But I liked IU, and I think it's funny that you say that you didn't like her in canon, because this is like throwback Brittany Karbowski for me. Like, I feel that some of her roles as of late, because we just did Gamers, and I was like, it doesn't sound like Karen Tendo at all. I mean, like, the basic tone of voice is there, and like the gravel and the rasp is there, but there's something in her voice, like the little cracky thing. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know.
It's she
like,
always has a very similar. She speaks very similarly in a lot of her roles.
Yes, like the sonance in her voice is so recognizable, but I think it's pitched up from Karen Tendo and Gamers to make it sound younger, which is funny because Yuki is actually older.
Oh God, you're
Gamers.
right. It's all about art design. It's all about the art design. And you know what else is important about Yuki? Her costume design. You want to know why? Because straight up, the outfit she is wearing is inverted colors to their school uniform.
I didn't notice that.
Yep.
Pull that up.
It is straight up, the world she sees is inverted. That's a little bit of color design and theory and foreshadowing. I remember that tidbit from way back when.
I'm looking at the. Oh, you're right.
Somebody has.
Okay, so she's got a blue.
Uniform.
Yeah, she has a blue skirt when everyone else has green. She has a red scarf. Wait, no, actually, the girls in the senior year are all the same scarf color.
Look up School Live character design inverted color. I believe it should be like a Crunchyroll thing or something. But yeah, that is like a really cool thing about Yuki. And yeah, no, I genuinely enjoyed this character. It could have been so easy to make this character insufferably annoying to me. Like, you could have made it very easy, but the way they handled this character, the way they handled her story and her struggle, the fact that, like, you see her really coming to terms with this reality and, like, the actual, like, mental sickness that she has going on that's plaguing her mind and basically overtaking her life. Like, she is genuinely a sweet person, wants the best for people, but she is so torn up about the things that has gone on around her and just shut herself in. That is actually genuinely upsetting. So, like, it actually is a genuinely triumphant moment when you reach, like, the final episodes. And she straight up is the one that is surviving and making her way through the hordes. and like I wanted to
Well, I
cry
think-
along with her when she's holding Taro-maru in her hat.
It was
In her
Oh,
hat.
jeez. It always goes back to the dog with you.
Also, she cries really good as Yuki, and I feel
She
it.
does. Like, they fucking broke me. All of her crying fucking broke me on the ground because
Like,
it's Brittany Karbowski.
I genuinely
will tell
did
you
not
this.
think. I genuinely did not think a rewatch of the show would have the same emotional impact. I think the dub made it more
did.
emotional for me.
They watered you up. The entire show is a gradual build-up to what's inevitably going to happen to them in the school.
But it's like, I knew. Why did it make me cry again? God damn.
Because
Like,
after
we knew
going
what
through
was
the mall
coming.
and trying on swimsuits and going to the pool and like yes, of course, every anime has to have a pool or a beach scene. It is written into the constitution. All of that was just watering you up so that when the bad stuff finally happens, you're ready to be just smashed.
Alright.
Well,
So-
that being said, I don't like Yuki in the Japanese. I think if it were anyone else except Brittany Karbowski,
You would have been annoyed.
I would have been annoyed.
That's
because
fair.
this is the character that I hate. Like, this character type, the one that always tries to be super positive, like to the point of fake. However, the fact that Yuki's fucking schizophrenic makes it all the more, like, the layers just inside of her. Like, I remember the first time watching this, and I was just like,
Oh, I'm
you gotta
not
be fucking shitting
do
me
you-
right
do
now.
you-
They're having a straight up schizophrenic in this goddamn anime,
you-
and no one's doing anything about it.
And the whole
Yeah,
thing
that car
is
scene-
they straight up like let her do it because they need her happiness to make them survive their own life.
And
Well,
see,
it ends
I
up
don't.
being what saves them, actually. Like, remember that last scene where what
Yeah.
causes the zombies to finally
Oh
leave?
yeah, no, she
is-
straight up like she proves her worth and saves the day in those final episodes. It's amazing. Like she comes around, she has
See,
a
and
solid arc.
I don't know if it's that they need her happiness in order to make themselves feel better. I think it's that they need her to remain happy so she doesn't go fucking batshit crazy and try to kill all of them.
I genuinely think they
That's probably an extra caveat.
That's a little extra caveat too, but I genuinely think they kind of need that positive energy or something to distract them from their lives, and that's what they kind of use her own sickness as an escape from their own lives, ironically enough. They use her escapism to escape their own suffering. Boy, there's some dramatic irony there. But yeah,
Oh my god, there's so much fucking symbolism and shit in this anime.
it's so good, but
It
I
is
think
so good, but
I
Brittany
think-
Karbowski, top tier.
I think
Again, Lurch is just like top tier anime producer.
so.
these
I
days.
think we've said our piece on Brittany, and we can finally go on to final thoughts.
Can we get in the car and finally drive away?
Let's drive away.
Are we
with
gonna
the little
go? Are we
must-
gonna go to work? Are we gonna go to college? Are we gonna go to work?
All
Are we
right,
gonna go to college?
Gigi, make your decision. Where do you stand on the matter of school life?
I'm gonna take the wedding with the shovel. That's my final decision in the game of school live.
Gigi is always into the edgy boys, so that makes perfect sense.
The best man. The best man at this wedding will be the brave little toaster.
No, the best man at the wedding will be the teddy bear with the mustache.
Oh my god!
Oh my god.
That screwed me so much up in the opening when like it's like all torn up after we've seen it as just normal for episodes and episodes.
Okay.
Wait,
Wait,
all right.
It's time for.
Well-
okay.
I'm sorry.
All right.
Go ahead, Gigi.
So, I wanted to talk about School Live for so long, but I have the mindset where I want to talk about it with you, but I don't want to tell you anything about it. I want you to watch it completely blind first. That's why every time I've talked about it on my channel, it was in it was like, I think number 4 or 5 or something on like my top anime I watched, whatever the year was I watched it in. Because I was so moved by it and I was so shocked by it that I'd never seen anything like it in anime form. I thought it was just friggin' brilliant. So I'm happy that I get to talk about it full of spoilers now because there's so much that I wanted to talk about. I think this dub is pretty damn brilliant as well. Like, it had to do something to match the art and the direction, the sound direction of the original Japanese anime. And I think for the most part, it really did. Like, it had all the creepy moments. It had, everybody had emotion behind their performances, minus we won't go there. But I felt it was really well done. And this is one of the first dubs that David Wald cut his teeth on writing. So I'm really excited that him and Caitlin made such a nice team together that they could make the Japanese just flow so seamlessly into an English dub. Shannon did an amazing job directing, and then all the girls, I mean, they had to have a really small cast and they had to come together quickly and they had to ramp it up to 11, and they all did it. I would definitely recommend watching the dub of School Live. I keep saying fucking School Live.
Oh, it's a tomato. Nobody's gonna crucify you over it.
I know.
No,
so,
it actually it does make a difference, because if you say live and live are two different words. It's not just a pronunciation issue.
well, no, I know it's School Live, but I've always said School Live until I realized that it's the School Life Club and they're living at school, which is why it's School Live. But anyways, that aside, 9 out of 10 would dub again. I'm really kind of digging these Sentai dubs lately, and I know it's because I've been on a lot of the show. I've been on a lot of the dub talks for the Sentai shows, and like when they were ADV, it seriously was like hit or miss. This is like really garbage, or this is like actually gonna happen. And I'm very grateful that they've started like getting away from the subtitled only releases and going straight into dubbing shows that deserve one. So
yeah, this was one I spent a long time asking for a dub for, because this wasn't like the guaranteed hit that Umaru-chan or Monster Musume was. This was one like you had to be vocal about, and I was vocal about this one for the longest time. So when they finally like announced it was happening, I was so goddamn happy.
yay.
All right.
I'm done. That was all I had to say.
So, Gigi, you are speaking from the perspective of somebody who's watched this before and is rewatching this. Now, I'd like the perspective of someone who went into it blind for the first time.
You son of a bitch.
I genuinely didn't know you didn't know.
Virgin.
I genuinely didn't know you didn't know.
You keep saying that. I feel like the dog that was like thrown the breadcrumbs and like led into the trap.
God damn it! That is not a good analogy, Noah.
Good job, Noah. Air high five. Internet high five.
Air high five. So yes, I posted this on my Twitter feed, so you could actually watch my real-time reaction to this.
It's amazing, by the way.
I started the show. At first, I thought it was actually an idol show, because I heard the title was School Live, and I thought it was like Love Live, but these guys assured me it wasn't, so I'm like, okay, fine, well, I'll give it a look. I started watching it. By the way, thank you, High Dive, for existing. That is the greatest invention that we've had this entire year. That deserves a Nobel Prize. Started watching the first show, and I'm like picking up on little things on it, like, this is kind of boring. It's like, almost feels like it's a parody of a Moe slice of life kind of show.
Yup.
And there's like, why is it? Okay, there's a Stephen King novel in this. Like, I know one of them's reading that. Well, that can only end well, because I've seen the Stand miniseries. I didn't quite draw the parallels yet, but I knew something's gonna happen. And then, after an episode of nonsense fluff, we get to the reality of what's going on. Broken glass, blood all over the place, scratched walls, broken furniture, and Yuki just smiling as she's talking to people that are not there. And my reaction it was just like, what? My brain broke. It full on broke. Carburetor break, transmission, fumes, blow up. Everything. I think my brain actually splattered all over my work desk.
Noah's episode 1 reaction assured me we have to do this. There is no doubt in my mind this is happening.
And I am glad that I got talked into doing this one, because none of the marketing for this would have indicated what it's actually about, and not knowing what it was going into it made it so much better. So much better. As for the dub itself, there are a lot of English shows that try to capture the moe aesthetic of voice acting that Japanese actresses just pull off more naturally. It's hard to do in English. In this case here, it wasn't full-on moe in the cutest manner that can get really annoying for some people, but it was believable enough as a moe show that when contrasted with the harsh reality of the zombie apocalypse, which we never find out what happened, like we don't find out how that actually broke out, that always bugs me, but it really works really well. They knew exactly how to direct this. Shannon, God bless you, man, did a really good job of balancing the two of them out. And it's, again, something that I'm finding a lot in Lurch productions. Like, they did the same thing in Assassination Classroom, and they're doing it currently in Kino's Journey, which all of you should watch that anime of the season, along with Blood Blockade Battlefront and Beyond. So I have next to no qualms with the way that this was dubbed, and I'm actually probably going to be getting a copy of this if it goes on sale during the Christmas sales during Right Stuff's Holiday Spectacular. It is that good, I want to own a copy of it.
All right.
Now that you've watched it, I can tell you that on the inside of the limited edition box, the outside is like white and super girly and has like flowers and all the girls on it and stuff.
Oh my, don't.
The inside's fucking covered in blood and dirt.
Fucking amazing.
Well, shoot, I gotta get a copy.
All right.
And
All right.
one of the I do want one last thing I want to say. Gigi said that you hadn't seen anything like this before in anime. I also haven't seen anything like this in anime, but it does remind me a lot of the movie Shutter Island.
I've never seen that.
I've not either, but I've heard good things.
It's very much like this.
I appreciate that neither of you have gone this entire episode and not compared it once to Madoka Magica. I thank you for that. All right.
But it's nothing like Madoka Magica.
Why would we? There isn't even.
It's not a deconstruction of anything. And
it's not a fake out. It's not a time travel story.
Oh God!
It's not a magical girl.
God
anime.
bless you, fucking literate, intelligent sons of bitches. I love you so much.
We are going to take you up back and beat you with the shovel as soon as this recording stops. Just so you know.
And I will deserve it. But first, my final closing statements for the graduating class. First things first, the dub and the direction and the writing, fantastic. I could talk more about that, but I spent the past 2 hours going more in depth on my thoughts. I'll say overall, they had a small cast to work with, but they basically dug into those performances, that emotion, that feeling, and made it work and executed it to the nth degree in English. I was very impressed, and it's a fantastic dub. Now I want to talk about this show, because there's so much in this show. And the thing that I was so worried about when revisiting this project, I was scared this wasn't going to work the second time around. I was actually concerned the effect, the impact, the little details wouldn't be as good the second time around. I am so very wrong, because it's probably even more effective the second time around. Because you notice all the little clues, you notice all the little details, you notice the emotional beats, you pick up all the little things, you watch the opening, but another thing, go watch Mother's Basement video on the opening and how that changes over time. That's fantastic. You watch things change over time, you watch the colors change, the ending as well. I love the second ending theme too. I fucking love that song. You watch
I knew as soon as when we got to the episodes where I think it was somewhere in the last third where the sky has finally changed to an afternoon color.
Oh, it is
it actually looks like a blood sky.
It is straight up a blood sky in the final couple OPs.
God.
The worst one is the one where you see doggy Taro-maru walking around in the title card while they're nowhere to be found, and he doesn't catch the bone. He doesn't catch the bone.
As soon as I saw that blood red sky, it was like, oh god, they're all fucked.
The time when Megane gradually disappears from the pictures, and she disappears from the episode. She disappears from the episode outro with the da 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 da, and she disappears as Yuki's talking to her. Doesn't say a thing. That hurt.
While
even
the happy music is
yes,
playing.
It hurt.
All cheery.
Also, okay, so another thing. I feel that what makes the show work, like it's a horror manga, and that probably is effective in its own right. What makes this work is the anime direction and the sound design. The direction of certain shots and composition, the way certain scenes are handled, as well as the eerie sound design, the fucking distorted sound of the piano theme when we see Zombie Megane for the first time is fucking breathtaking. Like, it is fantastic, and it's like, it was something that was bugging me so much when I was covering Centaur's life, is like, there's some interesting things here, but the direction is so bare bones you didn't even try. But the direction and the sound design and the presentation of this entire show, the character designs are adorable, which makes it all the hurt more when shit goes awry. The direction is so interesting that's why you feel the actual composition. Even the zombies, like, they're covered in shadow most of the time, which actually makes it surprisingly effective. I thought it was like a censor thing, but it works so well. This show surprised me and presents a great, tragic, interesting story that really sticks with me. And I've been wanting to get this project off the ground for a while. So, thank you, Noah and Gigi. All the shit I've thrown and all the opinions, I'm so glad you guys are here that we can cover this, because this show is something I really, really treasure and really, really stuck with me. And revisiting the dub for a second rewatch makes me appreciate the show even more. God bless. Fucking amazing. Go watch it. Now.
Well, there's the twist of the episode, Andrew. We're not really here.
Don't. God, you guys are such fucking assholes. Isn't that right, Hardy? Aren't they such fucking assholes? Alright, we'll go for steak after, alright? Come on.
And Andrew.
Spaceman Hardy's
that's my fedora now.
Actually, you know what? Just let him be, Gigi. Just
my buddy Spaceman Hardy's telling me that we should move on and wrap this up. Now, if you would like to follow the rest of us at the Dub Talk Podcast, you can follow us on our social media pages, like our Twitter at the Dub Talk Podcast, as well as our Tumblr and our Instagram pages. But the Twitter is the most actively used. As for where you can watch School Live, you can buy it on DVD, Blu-ray, and in collector's edition box from Sentai Filmworks at their store, as well as places like Right Stuff. And if you would like to stream the dub for School Live, you can go watch it on High Dive, which is a service currently in beta, but it's been a godsend for us to do our jobs. Thank you very, very much. Now,
hell yeah.
As for where you can find us, you can find me over on Twitter at MangaMan9000. I also go by Classy Spartan or just Andrew. Other things I do outside of this is I am a guest podcaster on Surreal Resolutions Podcast ONA, as well as I'm a moderator over on the official Funimation Discord. Where can the lovely people out there find the rest of you?
In your dreams.
Or
your nightmares.
You're in all of my dreams.
This is a Halloween special. I don't feel like we've been very spooky.
Let me out of the dungeon, please. Please take the fuzzy ball gag out of my mouth. I promise I won't badmouth.
That's not scary for me.
I won't badmouth David Wald ever again, I promise.
Okay, Gigi, you gotta click your heel down and make your territory known. Where can the lovely people find you?
Well, my name is Gigi. You can find me on Twitter and YouTube at Animepalooza, where I basically retweet fan art. So if you have any cool School Live pictures, hopefully not where any zombies are doing weird things, please send them to me and I'll RT them. I am your resident shoujo trash expert, and this is the first show I've been in that has no boys in it. So this is very weird.
It's not only no boys, but it's very, very explicitly moe. I'm genuinely surprised. This is the first for you. I'm proud of you.
I know, right? Like little baby Gigi's growing up into moe land, I guess. But we
gotta make you watch Higurashi next.
I've seen Higurashi.
Oh, well.
Higurashi's fucking a masterwork. Why do you think Grant George is in my goddamn reverse harem?
Anyways, Noah, stick a knife in it and tell the people what you've been doing with your life lately.
My name is Noah Clue. That is a pun taken from a Carmen Sandiego game. Which one, I will never tell you. And you can follow me on Twitter at Noah Clue as well. And that is the place where I rail against the animation industry, talk about the good days before, people invented Flash, and also talk about basically my children who are amazing, and I post pictures of them a la May Hughes every chance I get. In fact, I've got more pictures of Ruby that need to go up as soon as this podcast is over. I will flood your feed with them.
Baby
But
time.
if I am not on Twitter, I'm potentially, I also have a YouTube channel that is youtube.com/journeytraveler that has not been updated in over a year because I've been busy parenting.
Waiting.
But if I ever get around to it, I have plans for stuff involving Western animation because that is good cartoons. And I also talk about voice actors there as well, which after tonight's episode, I think I need to do a voice actor shout out about Cynthia Martinez. So thank you, Gigi, for encouraging me to get on that.
You ride that motorcycle
God damn
all
it.
the way you want, my friend. You rev it up all you want. And with that being said, we here at the graduating class would like to thank you very much for joining us on All Hallows Eve tonight. So, with that being
Halloween.
said, this is the Dub Talk Podcast signing off, saying Otaku on, my friends, and we're doing just fine. Good night, everybody.
Love your spooky faces.
Aloha.
The spookiest of faces, covered in blood and guts. Good night.
Classy.
I am
I'm off to get
very
some candy.
classy. Thank you very much.
Candy bars for everyone.
Woohoo!
Good night, everybody.
Or cans of beef, whichever one we can find.
Ew.
交し